during the viewing session, the ordering session, things took a turn. She initially loved how her makeup looked in person, but during the ordering session, she told me she didn't like how it looked in the photos. Hey, Boudoir photographers! Are you ready to be totally booked out with high-paying clients? I'm Tracy Lynn, and I went from side hustle photographer to running $1 million boudoir photography business, working just 30 hours a month. That's right, just 30 hours a month. On this podcast, I tell you how I did it and how you can too. Hey there, and welcome back to Sustainable Freedom with Boudoir Photography. I am going to be honest, I just recorded this entire podcast and didn't hit record. So here we are starting all over. Today we are talking about overcoming objections in your boudoir business. And let's just go ahead and get started. I understand that receiving pushback from clients is very emotionally challenging sometimes because you've spent hours and hours and hours capturing beautiful photos, investing so much time into perfecting every image, only to have the client question the value of your work. It can be gut-wrenching. It can make you feel like you didn't do your job right or you've disappointed them. This emotional reaction is completely natural, so don't worry about that. But it is crucial to not let these things interfere with your sales process. If you get stuck in your feelings, you risk tanking that sale and undermining your confidence and professionalism. So how do you navigate these challenging moments? Well, by understanding that client objections are a normal part of the IPS process and arming yourself with strategies to address them effectively. The first step is recognizing that these objections are not personal attacks. Instead, they're opportunities to clarify, educate, and guide your clients towards making a decision that they feel good about. In general, there are two main objections that photographers face during IPS sessions. It's too expensive and I don't like them. I will say I have very rarely gotten the I don't like them. Usually clients are going to like some of the photos. We're going to talk about this in just a few minutes. But the more common one that I think that you'll get is it's too expensive. So we're going to spend the majority of this podcast talking specifically about that. But both of these objections stem from different concerns and can be equally challenging to address. So let's dive into each of these common objections and explore strategies for overcoming them. Let's start with your prices are too high, because as a photographer, this is the one that you are most likely going to come across. Your primary job is to create beautiful photos and offer a range of high quality products for your clients to purchase. It's essential to remember that it's not your business how your clients choose to spend their money. If a client wants to invest in your work, you need to let them do that without hesitation. Remember, you're in business to make money. But also, if a client doesn't have the budget to spend a lot, avoid making them feel guilty or uncomfortable about their financial constraints. One thing that I always remember is how Tommy, his grandma, was visiting us one time, and she stayed for a whole week, and that whole week just happened to be the week that I had all of my ordering sessions. Well, she stayed there. She heard all of them, every single one of them, and she made sure to tell me that she thought that it was really cool that every single client, regardless if they spent $5,000 or $500, I made them feel like they made the best decision for themselves, and I never changed my attitude towards them regardless of what they bought. So that's something that you really want to make sure that you do, is just deliver exceptional work and an enjoyable experience. Make sure that they feel loved and cared for regardless of how much they spend. If a client decides not to make a purchase, that is another topic and something that I think we might need to discuss on a different podcast, because that is more reflective of how your business, your studio policies are, rather than your actual something that a client would actually say. If your business policies, your studio policies are in place, that shouldn't happen. But let's say a client does decide to not make a purchase. That decision is not a reflection of your talent or the quality of your work, so you don't want to take it personal. As long as you've been consistent with your portfolio and provided a positive experience, you did your job. Clients often feel that prices for prints, albums, and other products are higher than expected, and they might even compare your prices to cheaper alternatives found online or at local stores. It's important to remind clients that these comparisons overlook the fact that your prices include the cost of the artwork, not just the physical prints. They're not just paying for the paper. It's also important to recognize that many clients may not have put aside enough money for what they want. They might come into the in-person sales session with a certain budget in mind, only to experience sticker shock when they tally up what they want versus what it's going to cost them. This is when clear communication and setting expectations early. We don't typically send a complete price list prior to the session, but we do let them know that most clients spend between $1,000 and $2,000. Some spend more and some spend less. We also let them know that we offer in-house payment plans that will allow them to get everything that they love, but pay for it over time. If you experience the shock with your clients, if your clients experience the shock, remind them about that payment plan option really quickly, and then just get them back into the excitement of the photos and the session itself. Some clients might try to negotiate prices, or they might ask for discounts. This is often a natural reaction when they are spending more money than they initially anticipated. You just need to confidently communicate how incredible she looks in the photos, how beautiful the products are going to be, and remind her of how much fun that she had all along the way, and also the long-term benefits of experiencing something like this. Highlight those aspects, and that will help the client see the true value of what they're purchasing. Another common issue is just confusion about the in-person sales model itself. Some clients don't understand that the session fee doesn't include digital photos or prints, when other types of photography sessions do include the digital files. They might have assumed that everything was included in the initial fee, which we do understand that is ridiculous for what we do, what our costs are, but they feel blindsided when presented with the extra costs. To address this, it's very important to be transparent from the beginning. Clearly outline what the session fee covers and explain that prints and products are sold separately. There's also a common misconception that digital photos are a cheaper option. Some clients might prefer to purchase just the digital files, thinking it's more cost effective. However, it's your job to educate them on why physical products are a worthwhile commitment and investment. We also include digital copies of the printed photos, and printing through our professional lab will ensure that their photos stay private and not saved to some creepy teenager's phone at Walgreens or Walmart or something. So just make sure that you address those objections. Just do it head on so that you can help clients understand the true value of your work and why you're demanding that higher price. This not only helps to overcome their initial resistance, but also builds trust and reinforces the professionalism of your services. Remember, you have to stay calm, confident, and clear in your communication. That way you ensure that your clients feel informed and valued throughout the whole process. And then there's the I hate my photos objection. So let's talk about one of the emotionally charged objections that you might face during in-person sales sessions. This actually happened to us recently, but because we have clear communication, the client understood that she was going to have to purchase anyway, and she ended up loving the photos she did choose. But what happens is the client is self-conscious about their photos, and it's typically something more deeply rooted within themselves that they have experienced over time, maybe because they have recently developed body issues, or it might be something that they've navigated their entire life. But regardless, it can be really challenging because it's tapping into deep feelings, deep personal feelings and self-image issues that they have. So regardless, you have to understand how to navigate this sensitive terrain, and that can make a significant difference in your ability to connect with your clients and guide them towards a positive purchasing decision. When clients express that they don't like their photos during a photo session or the ordering session, it can be really disheartening. I promise I've experienced it. Not all the photos, and we'll address that in a second, but sometimes the client says they don't like the photos, and it's easy to take that personal. But it's important to remember that those initial negative reactions are often rooted in self-consciousness instead of the quality of your work. Clients might say that they hate all the photos, but it's actually not usually the case. Typically, they hate specific photos and they love the rest of them. So how I navigate that is to go through the slideshow. If they hate a photo, I take it out. I move it into a separate folder so that they never have to see those again. Once you do that and you have the remainder of the photos that they actually love, their attitude typically changes. So if you're letting them look at the ones that they hate, they're focused on those perceived flaws in themselves, and they can't clearly see the other photos. They're not focused on the photos that they actually love. So guide your clients through a really thoughtful review process. Reassure them that it's normal to feel self-conscious and that many clients actually feel the same way. And then encourage them to take a deep breath, look at every photo with an often mind. And usually when they look at it a little closer, they will find images that they like and even love. This shift in perspective can help them see the beauty in their photos and in themselves. And we're not just doing this for the money. We're doing this because we actually want them to love themselves as well. So keep that in mind. Like, reassure them that they actually look beautiful. So one effective strategy is to highlight the positive aspects of every photo. Point out the beautiful lighting, the flattering angles, the genuine expressions that you captured. By focusing on those elements, you can help the client see beyond their self-perceived flaws. Reiterate that the positive experience that they had during the shoot. Help them remember how excited and empowered they felt during the session. And then address any specific concerns that they might have about their appearance. So maybe the client says that she doesn't like the makeup in the photos. Take the time to discuss that with them. And then you can offer to make minor adjustments in retouching, or help take the contour down or something like that. But really be careful not to overpromise or over compromise the photo or authenticity of the images. Because the other thing is, the goal is to enhance their natural beauty, not alter it significantly. And sometimes clients can't see past what they don't like about themselves. And in those cases, it can be beneficial to bring one of their family members on, or their husband, or their friend or partner or family member. Like, you might need to bring somebody on, because sometimes having a loved one on the phone or on the Zoom session or in person will help them see themselves in a kinder light. Remember, your goal is to not only capture beautiful photos, but also to be supportive and reassuring during the session. So remain calm, patient, empathetic. That way you can help your clients navigate their self-consciousness and guide them towards appreciating the beauty and quality of your work. Now, real quick, I want to share a story about a client who perfectly illustrates the challenges and solutions in addressing all of these objections, both of them, to be honest, during her in-person sales session. She was beautiful, and she came in for a boudoir session. She was excited about the experience. She looked beautiful the day of the session. We spent 3 hours on her session, captured her at her best. We were thrilled with the results. She felt amazing during the session. She came to me for the ordering session, and she told me how beautiful she felt during the session, and she was super excited to see the photos. But during the viewing session, the ordering session, things took a turn. She initially loved how her makeup looked in person, but during the ordering session, she told me she didn't like how it looked in the photos. And despite what both me and Ashley thought about the makeup, we thought it looked great. And a lot of her issues were more because of the way the light hit it, which was totally changing. We could totally change that after retouching. But she struggled to see past her concerns. And she actually must have loved the photos, because she ended up choosing 50 photos, and she could not get it narrowed down to what she thought she wanted, which was a 20-image photo album. But she could not get it narrowed down to that. So she settled on 30. It was going to be around $4,500, something like that. But she felt blindsided and overwhelmed with the price. Now, it's important to note that she believed that she wanted the photos, but at the price she felt comfortable with. She wanted all of the photos that we chose, but for the price that she thought that it would be. So to resolve this, we took several steps. What we did was, first of all, we narrowed down to 30 images so that we got to what she wanted to spend. And then So it did take a little bit. We had to go through the photos several times. It took more time than I typically take with ordering sessions, but I was patient and we went through them and she got them down to the ones that she wanted. Then the price was still, she thought that's what she wanted to spend, but it still felt a little bit more than she wanted. So from that point, what we did was talk through a payment plan. We settled on a payment plan option and she ended up proceeding with the purchase, and she appreciated the flexibility that I offered, and that really underscores the importance of clear communication, transparency, and a client-centered approach in resolving objections during in-person sales. By addressing those concerns with empathy and offering practical solutions, we were able to turn a potentially big conflict into opportunities to build stronger client relationships and a successful sale. So I don't think that this is something that I would have been able to do early in my career, but because after 900 ordering sessions, I know how to handle this situation. We were able to make it work really easily and well, and it only comes from experience. So I want you to know that you're going to get these objections throughout your career, and that is okay. It is how you handle them that's going to make all the difference. And I also want you to know that you are not going to handle them well the first time, maybe not even the second or third time, but you will eventually get more confident in the way that you go about the ordering session and any objections that you have with practice. So go into these confidently and just, no matter what, take a client-centered approach, but also remember you are running a business and you're here to make money as well. So if you have any questions, remember I have a 15-minute free coaching call if you want to talk through any pricing issues, client objections, marketing, anything you want to talk about. I am offering 15-minute free coaching calls to anyone who wants to schedule one, any photographer who wants to schedule one. Let me know. They will be in the show notes as well, or you can DM me on Instagram at It's Tracy Lynn. I love to talk through anything that you're struggling with. Remember, these are no pitch. I am not going to pitch or promo or tell you that you need to buy my program. I am not going to do that unless you ask. If you ask about a specific program, I will most definitely give you all the details. But other than that, this is really just so I can help you through what you're struggling with right now. I will leave this link in the show notes. So be sure to go to the show notes, click that link, and schedule your call. And I am super excited to chat with you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainable Freedom with Boudoir Photography. Please be sure to rate and follow so that you never miss an episode. They drop every Thursday and they're always full of super actionable information for you to apply right now in your boudoir business. Until then, make your next shoot your best shoot.